AI is being used to generate all these memes. We've got guys with their worker uniforms on, all assembling the same thing. And then it goes, make America great again. Like, this is some big own. Dunking on people who have blue collar manufacturing jobs is somehow, such a big win for the left. Like, oh, nobody wants this. It makes me so angry. American garment workers, American garment factories were a source of pride for our people. Were there bad conditions? Absolutely. Should we address bad conditions? Yes. But that doesn't mean that people who work with their hands and produce goods that we wear on our bodies are somehow worthy of this kind of mockery. And it's certainly not an own of the Trump administration, make America great again. So use your skills for something more elevated, guys.
I mean, and again, I guess I just push back, at all this kind of talk. Like, there's, like, what is wrong with doing, I mean, I cleaned office buildings, I washed dishes for a restaurant. I mean, I worked at a drugstore. I worked at Sears. Like, I did all this stuff. I didn't do manufacturing, but I would never look down my nose at someone who did that. I mean, it's good work. There's dignity in work. I just find it repugnant. Like, okay, so if you don't want to work in a factory, I'm not saying everyone has to work in a factory. And it's not like every factory looks like it did in like 1710. Like, get a grip, people.
You'd rather work in a cubicle with tungsten light and jeans Fridays? Like, what is the comparison? Like, also is hysterical with this is I feel like everyone just universally acknowledges that made in America clothing in the like 60s and 70s are absolute premium right now and still are in fantastic shape if you took good care of it. And people seek that out. Like the whole idea of like thrifting and vintage, because everything made now is crap. It's crap. It falls apart in 2 years.
It's true.
Fast fashion with Shein. Like, you go to a thrift store, you see Temu everywhere. Like, we all acknowledge that made in America stuff was fantastic and lasted forever. And I was listening to something too. Like, we made the B-52 bomber in what year? Like the 30s, I think. And there's still been no real innovation past that. Like, if something is good, you don't innovate for innovation's sake. We made that in the 30s. Like, we invented the automobile in the 20s, and we haven't had like real significant innovation. But like, we haven't had real significant innovation beyond, hey, let's go turn the F-150 into a smartphone. Like, we somehow have not become like American hard work, innovation, ingenuity, the pride that people took in small towns across America in what they produced because it was a good product that they were proud of, and it provided a life for the families and the money for their communities to live the American dream. And somehow there's this like snide, like, you think you want to go back to that? Yeah, I'd actually love to go back to that. I would love to have things made in America that last forever, make people proud, and provide a good living for people around me. I prefer that than pencil pushing, Excel spreadsheet driven economy that I see most people like are somehow putting up as the gold standard. Like, even if you disagree with the mechanics of how it's going to get done, the principle of manufacturing in America, I don't understand anyone that could possibly be against that.
Here's a good example of that, Tom. Erica will know this because she's been to Hillsdale, Michigan now. We're home of the college there. There used to be thriving factories. I mean, if you drive around the town, you see like 8 or 9 like vacant, factories or whatever. It used to be a bustling factory town. Hillsdale and all these other manufacturers, and it was right on the railroad. In fact, they got electricity. What was it, 1884, the same year that Midtown Manhattan did. Like, this is the kind of stories that you hear about. But then, if thank the good Lord that in their circumstance, at least they have this college that is thriving, and so it provided some opportunity. But other small towns don't have that, and so then when NAFTA and WTO and China cheap trade guts these towns, they're like, all we have left as an option is like, hopefully we'll get a prison open up in town.
Here's some Oxycontin.
Right.
Here's some illegal immigrants. Like, the level of betrayal is it actually fills me with white hot rage to the point where I almost black out. Like, we bail out Wall Street, we bail out Silicon Valley, we bail out the government.
Every time.
Every single time, without exception, bailed out the quote auto industry through Obama. Yeah, thanks Obama. That was
who will think about the 401k holder? Who will?
Right. And not me. I have no sympathy for this at all. Like
and again,
if you disagree with mechanics, that's fine.
We could run a whole episode just covering like, why isn't the Catholic left with us on this? Like, here's another example where like, it's Wall Street that's complaining about the stock market, but like, if this protectionist stuff reshores a lot of jobs, then boy,
that could be really good for the marginalized.
I want an economy of high wages. That's what I want.
Yep. High wages, work protections, and like national security.
Let's hope we're
like every element of it is a positive. So yeah, you got to look past the little snipey AI stuff. Although I'm actually glad people keep doing that. I think it's the dumbest possible argument. It reminds me often like the pick the crops argument. Like, oh, who's going to pick your crops? Like,
Jasmine Crockett.
If we don't allow unchecked illegal immigration, mass immigration to literally invade our country, oh my gosh, you might not get strawberries picked for, $1 wages and sex trafficking happen behind your back. Like, what are you arguing for?
Right.
Right.
You're arguing for modern slavery and abuse. Also, you can get your avocados.
These strawberries should cost you $3. But we'll sell them to you for $1 because we use slaves. Like,
I'll eat less strawberries for no slaves.
How about we have a law that says no slaves?
I'll throw my iPhone in a lake if it means that we're not using slaves abroad to make them. Like, I'm happy to make these changes. I think most Americans are. And all the people that are like, well, your 401k, we got bigger problems.
I mean, it's not even a choice. Like, of course I don't want slave labor. Like,
right.
Not at all. My last one was just, I can't. I keep up with NPR from time to time to see what the other side's thinking.
They're so bad.
They'll have the China flag in their bio very soon. Yep. But they have a little section called Shots, which feels very aptly. I'm sure they're sponsored by all kinds
Health
of big
news.
pharma, whatever. Health news from NPR. Headline: Transfer from Alaska. Transfer to Alaska. Offer to health leaders called insult to Indian Health Service. Now, if you're wondering who's feeling insulting, yes, it is government bureaucrats in the HHS that are getting fired. And they were offered, hey, if you'd actually like to really meaningfully contribute to the country
Public
in
service,
areas that don't have good healthcare professionals, hey, we could really use you in Alaska. And they are like, I cannot believe you would even suggest something so insulting as to me leaving, Alexandria and my cozy life there and going to Alaska and, I don't know, serving the public. That is legitimately the crux of this article.
I loved it. I did not see this coming at all, a senior executive said at HHS. They asked not to be identified. And then William Chief Bill Smith, who chairs an organization that advocates on behalf of the tribes, some of whom are up in Alaska and need healthcare professionals up there because there are no doctors. He's like, oh, any major leadership changes need to be made with full consultation with the tribal nations. So like they're down on it. But the idea that like, oh, our public servants are all being fired and this is terrible to people who are just here to serve the country. And then you're like, you want to serve the country? Why don't we just send you to the reservation where you are really needed and you can actually serve effectively? And they're like, oh no, I'd have to leave Fairfax, Virginia? No. Go to Alaska.
They don't have my steakhouse there. They don't. What are the soirees like? Yeah. There's no social scene in Alaska.
I don't care about the name.
It goes back to Josh. Your point. You always bring this up. Like, I think Trump actually is low key trying to do this. I actually don't have anything in front of me, but to move different departments of government to places in the country where they actually belong.
Yeah, like the Interior.
Department of Interior should be in Montana or Wyoming. Like, there's no reason for the Department of Interior to be in DC. Like, your whole job is actually to serve like rural parts of Middle America.
Department of Agriculture could be
ag should be in Kansas,
or Illinois.
Because the hope would be that people that work for there are not working there so that they can get a cushy lobbying job after, that they actually care about agriculture in the country. And if you cared about agriculture, you would be living in Kansas. You'd be living
pretty
in
soon we'll have more bureaucrats that work for the Department of Agriculture than we do farmers.
Yeah. That's kind of crazy. It's scary.
So anyway.
Common sense revolution. Let's do it.
Yeah. Welcome to the golden age of America.
Welcome to Alaska.
Yeah. Alaska be chill. I'd love to go to Alaska one day. That'd be cool.
Not to live.
It's the only one I haven't been to.
Okay. Maybe we do a Loopcast trip to Alaska.
And to Hawaii? Oh, I'm so jealous.
Josh in Hawaii, that is a funny thought.
I was there as a 14-year-old boy with my family. We went there, and it just so happened as we got there, it was the same day as the coup d'etat in the Soviet Union. It was like, whoa.
Nice vacation.
Like, this is crazy. But then I turned off the news because I'm like,
you're in
I'm
Hawaii.
going to go to the beach, and Moscow's asleep.
Just 14-year-old Josh in an oversized Hawaiian, worried about what's going on in Russia.
And that's
awesome.
What can I say?
It's awesome. Just like too much sunscreen on his nose, like a white nose. Just like, coup d'etat. That is incredible. That's an incredible. Someone AI that, or maybe don't. Okay. Thank you guys for joining today's show. If you want to help us out, you can leave reviews, Apple Podcasts and Spotify. You can actually comment on Spotify now. So if you're listening, leave a comment. I saw someone appreciated my Tim Dillon reference. Yes, I think he's the modern political philosopher of our times. And so yeah, leave
like
that
Hobbes,
there.
but funny.
Yes, you can subscribe here on YouTube. That helps out a lot. Thank you. You can like this episode, comment below. Join the Champions Club. It's the best way to support us. Thank you to all our champions listening today. Thank you to our sponsors, University of Dallas and Charity Mobile. And of course, pray for us. St. Thomas More, St. Fidelis, Our Lady of Guadalupe. Pray for us. We will see you guys on the next episode. Ready to rock. Peace. Hey, if you like that clip, you definitely like the full show. We tackle the biggest headlines in news, culture, and politics live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Hit that subscribe button now, and we'll see you then. Thanks for supporting the show.